So I will say a warm welcome and happy holidays to everybody. Just very briefly, because this show is all about our 4 amazing facilitators we've got. We've got each one of them doing a 20 to 30 minute spotlight. They're going to be trying on a lot of really, really cool stuff. But for some of us, I know it might be our first time at Miro. Can I just really, really quickly get you to type in the chat? Is this your first time at Miro? Yes or no? Yes or no? Y or N? You can put a yes or a no if it's no. By the way, the more no's we get, the faster Isman goes with his little demo.
We had 1 Y from Paul.
We got one. Awesome. And no worries. That's what this demo is for. That's what this demo is for. And in fact, to everybody who is...
clarify, first time to the user group, not first time user of Miro.
Okay.
Gotcha. Awesomeness. All right. So you know what I'm going to do for everybody? So Isman's going to be taking us through a quick demo. I'm going to be quiet and toss it over to him. Isman and I are the user group leaders here, but it's a huge collaborative effort by everyone. Everyone's a volunteer. These facilitators who are joining us today are volunteering. If you've got an idea for a session, or if you would like to lead a session, feel free to shout out to us. You can send us a message any way you would like. The recording will be shared. Yes, that's correct, Carrie. On the official Miro group, they will be sharing the recording. I have put the board in the chat, That's also the board that Isman is sharing in his background. So Isman, to you.
Thank you, Joshua. So welcome again, everybody. Going to be a really quick demo since a number of you are very familiar with Miro. But those who have, I guess it's a refresher, is with all that eating during Christmas, this would be good to refresh your mind on what Miro is. So a couple of things over the top is that tablets and mobiles are not so great for your Miro experience, especially in this session, okay? The good browsers for Miro would be Chrome as well as Firefox. If you have never entered Miro previously, or if you have, if you're not logged in, there's a need to ensure that you are using the right device. So firstly, when you enter Miro, it will say, are you choosing mouse or trackpad? Make sure you're on the right device because it will affect your navigation around the board. Okay, so the tools that we are going to use for this afternoon would be some of the standard Miro tools. So the toolbar on the left side of your screen would be where the tools are. So if in case the toolbar is quite customizable, so some of these things may be hidden. So at the bottom of the toolbar, there's a 3 ellipses over there. If you click on it, there you see the rest of the tools. As I mentioned, these is quite customizable, so you can pull it in or pull it out. Okay, in case you don't see your sticky notes, it's in there somewhere. So firstly, the tool that we're going to use the most is something called the sticky note. Make sure you click on the sticky note over here and bring it into space. Oh, wow, that's massive. Hello, Paul. So I'm going to pull in another sticky note on top of Paul's. Let me see. Somewhere over there. Oh, that's me. Sorry, that's me. Hello there. Obviously, this is a massive sticky note. There are a couple of ways to reduce the sizes. One would be to pinch on the corner over here, or the other one would be to choose the size on the toolbar that appears right on top. Small, medium, or large. Okay. As with Miro, as with Windows applications, you can do things like Control Z to undo, Control D to duplicate, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste. Okay, I'm not sure if you're using tools, text tools in this session, but in case you're looking for it, it's T on the toolbar on the left side of your screen. It's T on the toolbar on the left side of the screen.
Isman?
Yes?
Am I the only one, but on your shared screen, none of your actions are showing up?
None of my app. Are you on Miro or are you on the Zoom sharing?
Well, I'm looking at the Zoom sharing and I don't get to see any of the things. I can see you doing it on Zoom, but it's not. So I'm wondering whether it's just me or whether the rest can actually see Isman's demo.
Extrude.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so my
I
screen
cannot.
On Zoom, is that it?
Mm.
Okay.
Not visible on Zoom, but on Miro, we can see the changes as they're happening.
Joshua, how do I fix this?
So I would say stop sharing and reshare, just real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna do this again. really quickly.
Ba-da-ba-ba. And for those of you who just joined in, Isman is doing the world's quickest demo, and then we're diving into the different facilitated sessions.
How about now?
Awesomeness. And I'm going to screen share for everybody just so you can all see what in the world Isman is doing, because what he's doing is really super interesting. So that was my long dramatic statement because now can you see my screen share?
Yep.
Cool.
Hey, there we are. Cool, cool, cool.
Like I said, some of the elves working on this are on holidays. You guys, come on. So the icon finder is something on the left. So it looks like this. You can search for something like holidays. And it will appear. Let's bring a gingerbread man into the space like this. It should appear at some point. And that's one way to put in an image into the space. You can also use emojis. Click on the smiley face. I would say happy. Brings a happy cat, smiling cat into the space. You can also bring in images through the something called the upload function. So the upload function, if you click on it, you are presented with a number of options. I'm going to click on my device. Click on desktop over here. And here is the holidays JPEG. There you go.
Awesome.
One other way to do image, in case you have nothing in your machine, would be to use the Google image search. If you click on it, holiday. Okay, I'm full of holiday spirit. Let's put it into the space like this. And there we go. This is the world's fastest Miro demo. One more thing, if you are into the space and you are unable to edit anything, on all you're seeing is a hand pointer like this, make sure you press on V. V will ensure that you are in edit mode. You are in edit mode. Okay. If for some other reason you are lost, you're not able to find the presenter or Joshua, click on Joshua's face over here. And you will be following what Joshua is looking at. And then we'll bring you to the right space. Okay. So that's it, Joshua. Over to you.
Awesomeness. I will stop my share. And you did notice that to the right on Isman's space, there is a Miro graffiti board. If you do get bored at any time and would like to add something to the graffiti board, do feel free to. So without further ado, let me just introduce you very briefly to our four speakers. They will briefly introduce themselves. We've got Robert with our appetizer, heading on into Martin with the first course. That's going to be followed by Francis with the second course. And then for dessert, Rosh and Meenakshi are going to be closing us out and sending us off into a wonderful 2021. So without further ado, I am going to toss it over to Robert Kinzel. We'll spotlight him. I will also be sharing the board link in the background again, if you have any questions. Cool.
And may I get the screen share capability, please?
I suppose that I should actually enable that. That would be a lovely, lovely thing to remember to do. Yeah, so there you are, screen share enabled.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. I am Robert, and I will first share with you the Miro board, and then I will send you all the breakout rooms to participate in this on your own. So what I've got is something that is popular around holidays, but it really could be used any time throughout the year because we have holidays anytime throughout the year. So if you take a look at my screen, I'll show you two things, and then I'm going to just release you into breakout teams. And Joshua, while we look at breakout groups, probably 3 or 4. I think with the numbers, even 3. Having 3 in a room would be more interactive.
3 people per room? Sure, sounds great.
Yeah, awesome. So I started thinking about holidays. I started thinking about cross-cultural communication and what are some of the things that we might discuss with our teams, whoever we work with. And I started looking at holidays, and they share a lot of similarities, maybe not the specific details, but things that you can see on the screen. The purpose, most holidays have some kind of activities or entertainment. There's gifts or sometimes gestures, actions towards others, usually at the benefit of others. There's food and drink, and then there's clothing and decorations. There are more, but those are a nice 5 that we could use. And so I wanted to see what we could design on Miro where people could use it around the world if they have a home culture and everyone's from that culture, or especially if we had diverse teams like we have on Miro today and people are from all over the world. So if you take a look at the screen, you can see how somebody might represent Christmas. So I'll zoom in here a little bit. This is just a Christmas example. Don't worry, you're not going to just be telling us about one holiday today. It's just to give the background of how we might analyze a holiday. So Christmas has a purpose, and the purpose could be seen as, never mind, I see something that I copied incorrectly there. That's awesome. So the purpose of Christmas, just ignore those sticky.
The purpose of Christmas is networking.
I was like, why did I put
on business, Robert?
Yeah, I was like, why did I put? I was like, Christmas is good for networking in certain events.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So what happens if you go down here, you'll see my next one. Those are my answers. So so basically, don't worry about that. We all know the purpose of Christmas is usually family getting together. Usually, the activities and entertainment are usually Christmas, like decorating the Christmas tree. We've got eating. I guess that would come under food, but eating turkey, having dinners is part of an activity or entertainment. The gifts, there are definitely gifts exchanges. Most people ask people, what do you want for Christmas? And then of course, clothing is huge. People have these ugly sweater parties. So we can see how we would take a look at the a specific holiday. Now, let's take a look at what we might do to create a new holiday. So if we had, let's say today, we're going to have 3 different people in a breakout room. And we have these 5 elements. That means everyone's going to get at least 1 element. Some people will get 2. So what we'd like you to do is pick one of your elements, and you can just decide that however you want in your breakout room. You say, oh, hey, I want to do food. I like food. I'm going to choose food. What you're going to do is you're going to add a food that you personally like that comes from a holiday that you like. You don't have to share that holiday with your team. So for example, I've just added coffee. Hey, I like coffee. I'm going to add coffee. Doesn't matter what holiday it's from. One of my team members for purpose put networking. Okay, great. We had one of my team members put introducing yourself to strangers. I was like, okay. So what we did is we all added an image, and then we added a quick sticky note to just describe that. And what we've done is we've created a new holiday. So with these 5 images and sticky notes that you see on the screen now, we have a new holiday, and our team has called that Connectivus. So what happens in Connectivus is people introduce themselves to strangers, and they share with them URLs or websites that might benefit them. They usually have some coffee or tea. One person might buy that for the other person, especially if they go up to a stranger and they say, hey, I'm Robert. You give them a coffee, give them a tea, and then you give them some networking and URLs. And then usually this is for business people, so people are in this business attire. Now, if you have a group that has all these different crazy things that don't really match, do your best to figure out what kind of holiday could we create with these 5 very random different things. At the same time, if you need to go in and coordinate a little bit, if you need to say, hey, a lot of us talked about friends and family, but one of these elements has to do with work, you might want to go back and edit some of the things to just make it a little more cohesive. So after you've added those elements, after you figured out what holiday this is, give it a name, and then be ready to share this with some people back here in the main room, because we would love to see what you've come up with, and we'd love to hear about these new holidays, in just less than a minute. Finally, if you have time, if you would like to go to this sticky board that we created, after you're done, if you're just waiting on other groups, how might you adapt this concept, or how might you adapt this design for your own teams? Whether it's talking about cross-cultural, whether it's talking about holidays, or whether it's just taking this idea of adding elements and it doesn't have anything to do with holidays. So that's just some things to think about later for applying this type of design. So everyone's going to be able, every group will grab one of these stars and start building on it. I think we should be able to do this within, I would say definitely within 10 minutes. Get in there, design it, give it a name, and get ready to debrief in about 30 seconds or 1 minute to share your holiday. And Joshua, first, I guess I'll ask, are there any questions?
You're making fun holidays.
Basically.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Connectivus. All right. So, Robert, would you like me to send people to the groups?
Yeah, I don't see any questions. Hopefully it's pretty straightforward. So, yep, send them to the groups for about 10 minutes and we'll see you all back here.
Brilliant. If anybody does have questions, you can raise a hand in a group. And again, if you have trouble getting to the board, I have put the board link in the chat again. When you get into the breakout room, if you don't know where that is, again, you can click the chat button at the bottom of your Zoom. It'll pop up and voila, you've got it. One of your partners will help you. You are in groups of 3 with a couple of groups of 4. Good luck. And I'm looking forward to seeing what your holidays are, the new invented holidays in 10 minutes. Let's see what you come up with. What is the next Hallmark card? See you soon.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, as your faces and names pop up on the screen. I'm going to jump right back into screen sharing now. Thank you all for participating in this. We have time. I have, Josh, what do I have, about 8 minutes?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay. We're going to give teams 30 seconds. So we're just going to start here at number 1, group number 1. Would anybody who was in group number 1 just give us a quick 30-second overview? What kind of holiday did you create and what are some of the elements?
Who was in group 1? Come on, group 1.
Oh, I should. Yeah, why don't I tell people who was in group 1? That's probably helpful. Francis being very quiet. We've got Loon and Francis and Valerie. Valerie had to bounce. So Loon, I'm going to delegate to you. Loon, tell us about your holiday.
Yeah, so we had the holiday is something about chilling and relax. So I'll call it Chillax Party. So you can see beachwear and food, barbecue beer and dancing and sand activities with water fights. So it's going to be a Chillax Party.
Awesome.
That is absolutely fantastic.
It sounds better than a lot of holidays that actually exist. So
yeah,
great.
Especially with beer involved.
Excellent. Group 2, would you like to share some ideas of the holiday you came up with?
And that's Ben, Marin, and Martin. Marin and Martin. It's tongue twister.
Marin, why don't you share? Yes.
Yeah, so we called our holiday Togetherness. And that's actually every day of the year, we decided. And the purpose of our holiday is to relax, reflect, and recharge together with other people. So we have this nice picture there of people dancing in the nature. And let me do this a bit smaller. Gifts would be just thank yous, so gratitude and appreciation of other people, because we have so many different skills and personalities that's represented by the sushi, all these different sushi that we have there. And out of that, we become, Superman and Superwoman, because we get all these thank yous and appreciation and, relaxation.
I like that. That's awesome. Thank you, Marin. Marin, now, Robert, we've got time for one more. If you'd like to choose one more. Sure. To be honest, I must be honest, I'm looking at Mars, Jupiter, Saturn convention.
Yes, that one has a lot of
I'm sorry to slightly nudge. I'm very curious about that one. Which group in the world did that one? That looks like the one that Isman was in. It has his fonts.
Yeah, that was Carrie's and Meda's group. I was just babysitting.
Okay, gotcha. So Carrie, that's Carrie, and all right. So let's hear the Mars, Jupiter, Saturn convention. Who is that?
Yeah, we decided to go to another planet that won't have COVID. And so that's a Mars, Jupiter, Saturn convention. And you got to bring your fun with you, your food and love for each other.
I think that is absolutely beautiful. It's very succinct. And you've got
a new rule as well. You have the robot for the clothing.
We had some groovy food. Yeah, alien looking olives and other food. And we had lots of games from Isman as well. So Isman, you want to explain those ones?
So we are going to play team sports, but we are all going to dress up as aliens, and we are going to play football, soccer, and rugby. Aussie rules.
That sounds beautiful.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for that. And I know we don't have time, but we will at least put Wi-Fi Day on the screen there. And as I say my goodbye, I will let you all take a look at it for yourself. And I'm just going to pass this back to save as much time as possible. Back to Joshua. Thanks for participating. And I look forward to doing some of your live activities in just a moment.
Thank you, Robert.
Awesome. Brilliant, Robert. Thank you very much for that. So again, this is just about how using some really, really simple tools, you can bring groups together around a structured kind of creative collaborative activity, but actually get to have some very meaningful discussions or discussions about aliens or a combination thereof. So from that, we're actually going to be pivoting to a very, very different area. I'm just going to screen share really briefly so I can bring us all nicely over to there. So we're actually going to be going, and our next facilitator is going to be Martin, who's going to be taking us through a really cool simulation. And just to make life easier, I'm just going to briefly bring everyone to me. So you should have been dragged over on the Miro board to Martin's section of the screen. And just one last thing before I pass control to Martin, I am going to reshare the link to the board below. In case you've lost it, the link to the board is in the chat. Without further ado, though, Martin, would you like to come on stage?
Okay, great. Thank you, Josh. And can you keep your screen share? Because that was perfect. That was exactly the shot that I needed.
Perfect. I will screen share. No worries.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Martin Aldergård. I'm Swedish, but based in Asia, in Thailand for 20 years. I really love to create simulation games and business simulations. I've been working with business simulations for management development, leadership development, change management. I really love how it makes people think by themselves instead of having to listen to some boring PowerPoint slides. And I've been now tossing around a little bit with a new idea for a team manager simulation. And this is a really first like an MVP kind of trial of something that I'm kind of what you call experimenting with, right? And I like to get you all involved. And on the Miro board, for the first little activity, there are 4 steps. You can only see 3 of them, but there are 4 steps there that I want you to do in the first kind of section around 10 minutes in your groups. So step number 1 is just the introduction to who you are in this simulation, and I can help you with that. As a group, you are actually Tim. You are the leader of a team of project managers. And as a team now, you need to think about how can you make a difference as a team leader for the people in your team to help your team perform better, to grow, develop, be generally more engaged. And in the full simulation, I have like 10 different situations. So it's going to be a very busy week for Tim, but today we only have time to do one of these situations that you can discuss around. And I picked an interesting situation here. Where basically one of your project managers on the team comes to you and asks for advice. So that's step number 2. Please go through step number 2, check out what's happening here, make sure that everyone in your group understands the situation. Then you go to step number 3. As you can see, step number 3, thank you, George, you're doing this so great. You have option A, B, and C. So as a group, go through the 3 options, A, B, or C. What should we do, A, B, or C? And think about what are the pros and cons of each situation. They all have good aspects and disadvantages. As a group, then, you pick A, B, or C. Step number 4, as a group, one in the group, you pick a voting dot, drag it to under the options you choose so that they can see from the groups we have, how many groups choose A, how many B, and how many C. The yellow sticky, use it to write a short note about kind of what's the benefit of choosing this option, kind of the motivation why you choose this option. Any questions? All right, now everybody, imagine you are Tim, and actually you have a meeting with one of your guys. His name is Mike, and take it from there, 10 minutes. Enjoy the conversations.
Are we going to be put in breakout rooms?
Yes.
Yes. How many breakouts would you like? Do you
Three people? Three.
3 people per room? Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, let me just make sure I've got 3 people. Awesomeness. So it should be. Oh, sorry.
And Martin, do we need to, in the group, do we all need to agree on which option it is?
That would be the best, unless one of you overpowers the rest and says, I choose this. That is also possible.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome. So we're going to be sending people to their rooms in just a moment. And it's a 10-minute countdown timer again. I've shuffled it, so you've got a new group of people. You're all on the board. Good luck. Hope you guys have fun in your rooms. And Martin, you're going to be automatically kicked into a room, but feel free to come back to the main room or feel free to hang out and wander. That's up to you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
So Isman and Meenakshi were in the same team?
No,
These things just happen. Isman's hanging out with Nurul,
okay.
who is awesome as well, of course.
Thank you, Joshua. How are you doing?
Hey, Nurul.
I'm doing very well. We're looking forward to round 2 of the Miro Zing race. So in case anybody didn't come to that, Nurul's last session was the amazing race in Miro, and we'll be doing a round 2 of that. Oh, look at your festive folder. That's awesome. Frame. All right, let me just toss it back to Martin. Welcome back, everybody, from the breakouts. Martin, the floor is yours.
Great. Yeah, I was looking at the Miro board and I could see the activity. Some of you very fast. Some of you took a little bit longer time. And I just have a question to anybody to shout out. Was this hard or difficult? How did you make the decision? Was it a tough decision? Was it easy decision to make?
Fairly easy in our group.
Why was it easy? What made it easy?
Well, 2 of us came to the same option kind of immediately. And then the third person was kind of like in between one option, which we had chosen already, and the other option. And then we kind of did a bit of, 3 minutes of talking around it. And then he said, you know what, I think I agree with your option.
Okay. Was it an easy decision or tough decision?
I don't know. We'll have to ask the person who had to make the decision because Yusuf, what was it like for you?
Yeah, it was an easy decision, but because I was like thinking of my own experience, and some people, just it's option C. Like it depends on the task and the mentality. So that was what I was keeping in mind.
Yeah. Did you start to make some assumptions behind here, kind of to choose between C and B? Because you said it kind of depends.
Yeah, because I just wanted to give like a personality to the person that I'm working with. So yeah, it was like a mix of personalities. It's like, okay, which one would be better? Is he the type of person who would actually respond to me asking questions and like taking him down because he's in a rush if I just talk to him? Or if he's someone that, okay, he won't listen to me right now and he just wants the advice and then he'll figure it out on himself.
So you would put in a little bit like situational leadership there to judge what is the need of this guy, and looking also on the time available, on the time frame, right? Is this the right moment to coach, or is this the right moment to be a little bit more direct?
Yeah, and Jacqueline also, like at the end, she said that depending on the situation as well, we might just take the decision straight away. If it's like very time sensitive and the consequences are above his pay grade and it falls under our jurisdiction.
Yeah. How come nobody choose option A? What was it that you did not like in option A? And now the question is open to everybody else. What made option A so unattractive?
We actually considered option A. We didn't choose it in the end, but we considered it.
But in the end, why did you deselect it?
Well, I mean, we didn't select it. We did actually think C was a better option, but A, if Mike's doing such a great job, Mike having to fight his own battles might be a good thing. If it depends though, has Mike always come to us, and he's only coming to us all the time, whether he has a quick deadline or not. Given the fact he has a quick deadline though, we figured option A might actually destroy some of the trust that he has, because it's, hey, this is due tomorrow, can you help me? And I'm like, no.
Yes.
I don't care about you or your deadline. Don't come back.
And of course, we don't know. Perhaps Mike was having a hard time to actually deciding to ask for help in the first place, right? Sometimes we know, especially in here in Asia, in some companies, it's really difficult to show some vulnerability, right? And then go option A on Mike. That would be a little bit harsh. Okay, Joshua, can we reveal, take out step 5?
Very, very happy to. Can we get a drum roll in the background? We need a drum roll. All right, there we are. Boom, step 5. Let me just scoot these up slightly. Yeah.
So we're not going to spend too much time on this because you have already kind of said all the interesting things. But the idea here is that when we're having, let's say we had team leaders, front line managers going through, they are not all coaches like you. They are not all going to go option B automatically. They are going to answer based on their own experience. But here they will get some feedback on their choices, right? And what do you say? Which option A, B, and C seems to pay off the best? What was the right choice, so to say?
Yeah. And to add to Martin, I would know many people would actually choose option C. It's like kind of like the default behavior. Yeah.
Yes. As a leader, right? We want to be, when we get the question, we feel good, right? Sometime I'm needed. The guy needs me. And I can start to share. But performance, only +1, right? Why? Because Mike needs to come back again and again and again, and you lose time, right? You go fast, you share, but you lose time in the implementation. Growth, yes, as some of you also mentioned, it goes up a little bit. You grow Mike a little bit. Motivation, so. Of course, B, that is we know as coaches, we know that is the right choice. Go slow to go fast, right? Performance, long-term increase, growth goes up, motivation goes up.
I think my favorite Martin ever on this is when we have like managers. We out there, ignore Robert typing deadline in there. We have managers who choose B. They choose B correctly, and then you toss them into the simulation, and they automatically go to A or C. So even though they say, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to choose B. I'm going to coach. I know what to do. The moment they actually get into the thick of it, they go back to their old behaviors.
Yes. And thank you for this. You know, this was the idea to start this development came from how can we help managers identify the small moments in everyday situations where I can actually coach. When somebody comes and asks me for help, that's the trigger. That's that informal moment that I need to spot as a leader to say, that's when I need to coach. And that's a difficulty when we do a lot of the coaching training, right? It sounds too difficult, too formal. Now, can we go to the last step, Josh? Now I have
drum roll, please. Yes.
If now you have a chance, and we do this as a big group crowdsourcing individually, right? I put 2 simple questions there, and you can answer them individually. And if the sticker's running out, I think we might have a few stickers. Feel free to add stickers. If you could advise a manager like Tim in real life, what advice would you give in this kind of situation? Only one single advice. Let's crowdsource silently from all of you. The second question, what could be a self-reflection question that you would want Tim to think about to improve in the context of this kind of situation? 1, give an advice, 1 advice, and 1, give a self-reflection question to Tim. Okay, enjoy your thinking, and let's see what we can all come up with together as a crowdsource. Wow, I love this. This is so good in Miro. We can see everything happening real life.
I think the best answer is coming from Robert. He's typing, hire Martin to help you make these tough decisions.
Yes. On an everyday basis.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can handle about 100,000 people at a time.
Sure, no problem.
Yes, yeah.
No capacity issues.
No. And of course, if you're done, you can start to go on the stickers and you can start to put those smileys there. If you like one of the stickers from some of your friends here, put a smiley on it if you have time. And I'm doing the funny mistake. I'm trying to click on the Zoom screen instead of the Miro app.
No worries. And we're getting an awesome, so Carrie, thanks for also contributing on the advice and self-reflection question. Carrie, I will copy and paste your answers over because I know that you're on the mobile version. So let me just copy and paste those in for you.
Oh, thank you, Josh. I didn't see that.
No worries. My only job in life is multitasking, which is a myth.
You must be so popular with the women.
I'm not sure how to respond to that. I'm just going to leave that there. Again, this is on the official Miro video. Thank you. So, yes. Martin, you've got about 1 minute left. Any closing beautiful thoughts?
I thank you so much for trying out all of these crazy ideas. And I loved it. I will go through all of these nice ideas and I will start counting the smileys. I hope you liked it, everybody. And let's continue with the other activities, Josh.
Awesomeness. And I want to say a big thank you to our first two speakers we've had so far. Yeah, big clap for that. So literally a thank you there. Thank you so much to both Martin as well as to Robert. That was actually super awesome. So that was the appetizer and the first course from Martin. And just like any good holiday buffet, by the end of this, if you're feeling like, oh God, I can't eat anymore, that's completely normal. That's our goal here today. And Francis has said that he is going to absolutely stuff you with ideas. So if you're feeling full from Martin's awesome simulation, and I do love the reveals. I like how that is. It's a great way to put the feedback in there. I love some of these techniques. Very curious to see what Francis is going to be adding to this puzzle. So let me just screen share and bring you on over to where Francis is real quick. Not over there. That's sneak peek of what Raj and Meenakshi are going to be doing. I'll zoom on out a little bit into the world's most colorful section of the board, which is super awesome. And let me just bring Francis onto the main stage, a person who needs no introduction. Francis, please come on board.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joshua. And I'm delighted to be here with all of you. After seeing what has come before me, I'm sort of feeling a little bit nervous about how this is going to go. The sinking feeling that I have is I've been over-optimistic and over-enthusiastic and probably put too much onto my board.
There's no possible way a facilitator would ever do that, Francis.
So before we start, I have to sort of qualify that a little bit. Good evening, everyone. My name is Francis, and I'm based out of Kuala Lumpur. I am normally been semi-retired for the last maybe 10, 15 years, but this year with COVID-19, I've been forced into retirement. Normally I work in leadership development, but ever since I was forced into retirement, I've had to look for something else to do. So I've fallen onto a passion of mine that I have, but I don't practice it very often commercially, which is in designing learning activities and work. And of course, with virtual working, we've now been forced to find a space. So nowadays, I support and advise trainers in terms of how to deliver virtual programs in a way that allows them to recreate everything that they used to do in a full classrooms. So the people I work with would normally be able to run full 2-day programs or 3-day programs from 9 to 5. And I teach them with some principles to go with it, together with a framework that allows everyone to really design workshops that work very well. Okay, that's engaging and people can sit through it for the whole day. This evening, after talking to Joshua, I've decided to sort of do something a little bit different. And something a little bit different is to share with you one of my favorite things that I do on Miro when I design learning activities, whether it's pre-work, whether it's in the workshop, or whether it's in independent micro-learning, which is using embeds. All right. And so if you look at that board that Joshua has already shared, you can see that it starts on the bottom left with truth and dare. And then you just follow the arrows. You just follow the arrows and go through it. Now, we've only got 20 minutes. So the key thing is when you start with truth and dare, it's going to be a fun event. So please don't spend too long with it. Just take about no more than a minute or less for each person to do the truth or dare. We need one person to be like a talk show host to do that. As soon as you finish that, move on to reflections. Just grab a Post-it note and write something on it. And then you move on to the next part of that journey there, which is something that I've embedded. It's actually go and try it out and you can see what it is. The instructions are there. It's easy enough. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much, Joshua. All right. So 2 parts here. You can do the Mentimeter, but not only that, you can look at the collective results as well, and that's something interesting. So you don't even have to leave Miro to do that. Then after that, that's the application part now, which is watch a 1.5 minute video. Along the way, if you see anything with a play button on it, feel free to click on it and see what happens. They're just sort of decorations along the way. Cool. And then you come up to the last bit, and this is the bit for yourself. So there's a little bit of learning. I've embedded something called Quizlet, and you can do that. There are instructions on the left of Quizlet that tell you what you should do when you first start, which is change it to flashcard mode. All right. So bottom right, you say choose a study mode, select flashcards, and then off you go. If you click on the card, it will flip over. As you can see, Joshua, you are so good at this. You are better than Warner White. Well, I'm showing my age now. All right. And when you finish, then the last activity for you to do is actually go to one of those cards on the right. And then all you have to do is fill that out for yourself. It's year end. So I thought a little bit of reflection and personal development is in order, might be fun. So put in your name, choose 3 of those Post-it notes, sticky notes at the bottom, move it into choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, and then fill out the other 2. The other 2 is, one is, what is the change that you will do that is outside of your comfort zone? And the last column is, what is the results you will manifest? And you have 20 minutes to do all of that. So are there any questions? If not, watch the timer in the breakout room. Joshua is going to put you all, I think, 4 in a breakout room. Remember, in the first activity, somebody volunteered to be the talk show host and follow the instructions from there.
What's the purpose? What's the role of the, what's the talk show host doing the thing for? What are they doing?
It's only for the truth and dare.
Sorry, it's only for the truth and dare.
That's correct. So when you get in there, it says, okay, who's going to be first? Who's going to be second? Who's going to be third? Who's going to be fourth? All right. Then everybody decide, do you want a truth or a dare? And then when everybody is decided, you say, okay, first up, Roshni, is it truth or dare? And if Roshni says truth, you click on the wheel of names with truth on it. It will spin and spit out a question that Roshni has to answer truthfully. And all of that within 1 minute per person. Does that work?
And then the rest of it is actually an individual activity, is it?
The rest of it is actually an individual activity. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Francis.
Any other questions? If not,
I'll just say this, since I accidentally typed it as a public comment. The wheel of names may not be working for other people. The other embedded things are working for me, but the wheel of names is not.
Oh, it should be working for at least one person. It's working fine on my computer. You can see it pulled up there.
Awesome. Good.
Oh, yes. So good thing. If somebody in the group is having a bit of a challenge, you're in a room together, so you can talk to each other, you can share thoughts, you can sort of mumble. And if you get one of these problems that Robert has pointed out, somebody else should work. So give it a try. Okay. Thanks, Robert. And thank you for that solution, Joshua. Are we ready to go? Let's go. Have fun, guys. See you back in 20.
Good luck, everybody. Have fun. All right, everybody is back. Francis, I'm going to re-spotlight you, and the floor is yours for the next 2-3 minutes to close us out. Or 1 minute,
okay.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone had a chance to give it a try. And I don't really need to do any kind of facilitation except to say that I hope that what you did there inspires you to try a number of different things about possibilities of embedding different things that people can do, right? There are lots more things that you could embed, and I couldn't show everything. So the master of embeds is Joshua, so feel free to speak to Joshua, but also feel free to connect with me. We're both big fans of embeds. Before I finish, is there any burning question that you want to ask before I hand over back to Joshua?
And actually not back to me. It's going to go back and toss right directly over. We have an amazing closing act. Let me just, I'm putting my spotlights up here. We've got Rashini, and make sure I've got Rashini's partner in crime, who is, where'd Meenakshi go? There's Meenakshi. I know, I'm recognizing them because they both have the festive hats on. And they are going to be taking us through an amazing session, and I've got to make them co-hosts while they introduce themselves and what they're going to be doing.
Thank you so much, Joshua. And thank you everyone for staying on for dessert. You still have, space for just that little bit more. And, today, both Meenakshi and I welcome you to our debut Meenakshi and Rosh show. So you heard it first over here. It's recorded. And, we are going to take you through a very quick but reflective session, because we've had so much. We've had so much today. We've had so much over the months, over the year. And, when we look back on 2020, it's been, bitter, left a bitter taste maybe in some of our mouths. Maybe some of us would say a little bit more sour than sweet. Bittersweet maybe for some, or sweet and sour. I don't know. We are in Asia. So, we could have done with a lot less of dollops of challenges that we've had, right, served on our plates. And yet at the same time, we are from an organization called the Change Business. Together, that's who we are. And we talk about real change coming out of real challenges, right? So a lot of us are celebrating some wonderful things that have happened over the year. So some of us have been gifted with lovely sweets and candy, like, for example, new knowledge, new skills, new friends, support networks like this group over here. It's been amazing. Meenakshi and I were nowhere when it came to the virtual facilitation until Jacqueline came into our lives. Yeah, she's here somewhere. And we had Francis G and people like Joshua and Isman who taught us so much. So we're so excited and delighted to be able to share something here. So before, however, we take a look at, how do we plan? How do we think about 2021? Francis, your session was perfect for being just before ours. But, there is a way of saying a sweet farewell to 2020. Now, to help us, have a meaningful way and a more focused way of thinking about all that we've gained in 2020, I'm going to pass it on to Meenakshi, who is going to share with us a tool that we have used with a lot of our clients, with a lot of our coaching sessions, and it's called the Wheel of Life. So for that, Meenakshi, can I pass it over to you?
Absolutely. Thanks, Rosh. And allow me to share my screen as I share the Wheel of Life. And since many of us are coaches and trainers, I know that you've probably seen this Wheel of Life before. Rosh and I have been using it for the last, I would say, 8 or 9 years to kind of do a quick self-reflection at the end of the year about how did this year go? So, it's been a big year. And when we started looking at these 4 areas, the mental, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual, where are we? And it's really simple. The template is on the board and you can see it. It's to pick up each of these areas, and you will see there are subcategories there, which are also self-explanatory, and say, on a scale of 0 to 10, where would I put it? And it's your definition, it's your judgment. We're not asking you for what exactly and why exactly. It's just your judgment and your definition. I'm going to share with you mine. It's up here. So that, by the way, is actually my 2020. And you'll notice that there are some things that didn't go so well. So on the wealth front, I wish there was more. This year has been challenging with lots of work disappearing. On the health front, Zooming has meant that there's a little bit more of Meenakshi than there was at the beginning of this year. And of course, sore bottoms. I don't think I've been out as much as I wanted to. Friends and family is not also an area that I really would rate highly because I haven't met too many people. Of course, Zooming has been such something that I'm so grateful for. But, you know, on the other hand, this has been a time that has led to me being greedy. The relationship with life partner has gone up. I don't think we've spent as much time together in the last 9 years as we did in the last 9 months. And fortunately, the marriage has survived, and so on. You know, as Rosh said, the connections, the community, how much we've learned. So you see that they've got high ratings. So just like that, we're going to invite you. Now, we thought there would be a lot more, so we haven't got a sheet for each person to do. We're going to ask you to just pick up a piece of paper. So if you were to pick up a piece of paper and just draw a circle, you know, however you would like to do that, break it up into 8 sections. I'm going to pull back this wheel so that, you know, it's a little bigger for you to look at. Take a couple of minutes. On a scale of 0 to 10, where would you place your dot for 2020?
And just for Robert, I'm going to play some Christmas music.
Yay!
Joshua, I can see your mouth moving.
Oh, yeah, my mouth moving. I was muted. Lovely music. By the way, if you are like Isman, you can see Isman actually on the board is cheating a bit. He's copied and pasted your situational wheel, and he is actually putting one on. He's doing it on the Miro board itself. You can actually see it below what Meenakshi and everybody has done on the board if anybody is wants to copy his lead.
And yes, if it was, you know, if we had had a little bit more time, that's what we would have got you to do. We would have had individual wheels for you where you could go and put in your
they're following the Isman.
Yes. Yeah, follow the Isman. Absolutely, that works.
I'm just lazy finding a piece of paper somewhere here.
And even Miro has become your piece of paper.
No, but that's a great idea. Great idea.
Hilarious.
Yep. And you know, just for those of you who want to go back to it later, there's a link to we've actually used this template from People Connection, and the link's there, so you can go and play with it later.
Okay, so are we thinking that everyone's had a chance to do some ratings for their areas on the Wheel of Life, Meenakshi? Do you think that's enough time?
30 seconds. I've got the 2-minute timer going.
Okay, so we're going to give you 30 more seconds. And, you know, if you have a wonky wheel like Meenakshi's, don't feel too bad. You're in good company. And with that, that's 2 minutes. God, I can read you so well now, Meenakshi. Okay, so with that, you know... Now, normally, most of us would probably think, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at where are those areas that are not going so well because we've got to go and fix them. Yeah, that's the natural tendency, but we're not going to do it that way because, you know, we say that when change happens successfully, you've got to know what you have been doing well and what have you been successfully doing. So that means we are going to ask you to celebrate, okay? So look at that wonderful wheel of yours or however it is that you rate it yourself and look for that one area that you are particularly proud of and you're really happy with how things have gone, right, over the year. And what we want you to do is we want to put you into breakout rooms. And as you are in the breakout rooms, you are going to show off, showcase that wonderful area of your life, and you're going to share with each other, what has been going on, been done well. What are some of the strategies you've taken? So if I were to show the board, okay, I'm going to go to the Miro board now. But let me get off where Francis session was, and you will see that the breakout rooms have been numbered. They have got colors to it. So just know which breakout room you're in and give each member at least 2 minutes to share and celebrate. And as you share and celebrate about what is your best area, maybe you could also share what were some of the strategies you use, what were some of the knowledge and skills that came into play in, helping you get to that high score. And, share that information on a Post-it and place it in the breakout room circles. So for example, I think I had a few here. Yeah. So for example, if you've discovered your passion for reading, or some of you have found that posting on LinkedIn has really helped with your business. Some of you may have started mindfulness meditation, and that's why you're doing so well in your spiritual area, or perhaps your personal development area. For some of you, perhaps you're really happy with the way family life has gone because you've been having, dinner at the dining table every weekend, right? So whatever it is that you feel that has been going well, put those strategies also in the breakout rooms. How many minutes do we have for the breakout rooms, Meenakshi?
We have 10 minutes. Actually, now that we have slightly smaller breakout rooms, maybe we will make that 8 minutes.
I think we need to stick with 8 minutes. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm going to go ahead and open the rooms now.
Oh no, everybody's back.
Everybody's back. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for those discussions, which we did not get a chance to eavesdrop on. So here's the thing, right? When we do these sessions, normally we would have a lot more time for one. But the other is that we would get you to look through the areas to celebrate, look at what are those areas that you want to fix, what are some of the strategies, the actions that you can take. And this is something that's going to be there. You're going to be able to visit everyone's, different sections over the coming weeks, days. And, you have our board as well. And this is something you can use as for reflection, on 30th, on the 31st of December. But the thing that we love doing for the end of our session is to get you thinking about the discussions that you've had, some of the ideas that have come up, the action plans that's already forming in your mind as you think about going into 2021, right? You already have ideas that is going to take a priority in that wheel of life, because maybe it's not as developed as you want it to be. Maybe there's lots of other things that you never quite got to in 2020 that you want to start. So we want you to imagine that, yes, it is New Year. New Year's around the corner, but I want you to project yourself into the end of 2021. So I want you to imagine that it's already 1 year down the road already. Now, you may have noticed we have a space that's in the Miro board for you to capture thoughts, ideas, and, put your pictures, but we don't have time for that now, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is, I'm going to ask you to imagine, right? You're on 31st of December, 2021. You've got your glass of champagne in your hand, or your favorite drink. Maybe you're exactly where you are right now, or maybe you're somewhere else, maybe in a different country, the place you were supposed to visit this year. And you are celebrating everything you have achieved. The plans have gone exactly as how you expected it to go. Goals have been achieved. Targets have been achieved. You're so excited about the conversations you've had, the meetings you've had, the training sessions you've run, the sales that you have closed. You're celebrating. So I would love it if, all of you here, I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to hear all of you, but imagining you are at 31st December 2021, what will you be celebrating? So can you please just unmute and share with us, what will you be celebrating 1 year from today?
Ismail's already put it in, Rosh. He says, I will have a radio station and Roshni will be my star radio DJ.
Yes! I'm going to hold you to it, Isman.
We can't get the voice two ways, you know. You gotta be on radio, Roshni. You gotta be on radio.
I know, I've got a face for radio. I've been told this before. Yeah. All right, so who else? What will you be celebrating? Unmute and share. Oh my gosh, with a room full of there are lots of trainers in this room and no one is speaking up. That's shocking.
I'm happy to volunteer some people.
We're just trying to get through this year.
Hey, there's only a few more days left. So I've got Martin saying he just can't wait to go to Europe. He's been stuck in Thailand and he wants to go to Europe. What else? What else do we have?
See my niece and nephew in Seattle.
Oh, lovely. I can just see
and the
that.
rest of the family as well. They're important too.
Yeah. Ben,
my mom and dad are
what are you celebrating?
Yeah, I think I'll go along those lines. Is seeing again my my family without restrictions, just flying over and see them wherever they are.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Yusuf, what about yourself? I'm just calling out names here because
I'm actually thinking about what it is, but all that's in my head is the ability to travel again and like meet the people that I love all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And can we have one more person unmute and share?
And I'm going to invite, I think there's a theme. All of us want to be back with the family, the friends that we haven't been able to meet this year. What about some of the other areas of life? So I'm going to be celebrating that the revenue going up. Like, how the numbers look. So I am celebrating the fact that I just looked at our numbers for 2021 and they were amazing. I mean, especially 2020.
Okay. And so on that very high note, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you to each and every one of you for staying on till the very end, for allowing us to take you through this very, very simple tool that just gives you a very nice way of stock taking what's happened throughout the year and giving you some sense of where you might want to focus on as you move into 2021. And honestly, from Meenakshi and myself, we wish each and every one of you a sparkling 2021. Over to you, Joshua.
All right. Can we give a big clap to all of our facilitators? I know that we're at time, so I don't want to keep you. So I'll do my symbol here, and it's automatically going, thank you very, very much. Huge, huge, huge love to all the facilitation we got today. That was super, super awesome. A couple of us will be sticking around if there are questions. Our goal was simple. As we close out 2020, to reflect on how far we've come, the community and the collaborations we've created over this time, but in particular to give you just some little tasters of this buffet, to give you some little tasters of what a bunch of different facilitators have discovered over this year. And hopefully you can take just small pieces of that back to your own companies, your own facilitation as you go forward into 2021. We look forward to seeing you hopefully at future APAC VMUG events. We will have one in January. You'll get a message about that. Don't want to ruin the surprise of that yet, but some really exciting things coming up in 2021. And if you've got some ideas, please feel free to reach out with us. Other than that, though, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful 2020 end and have a wonderful Happy New Year and see y'all on the flip side. Thanks, everybody.
Group.